Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the ninth episode of the Good Luck Go Fast podcast. That's right, we've had a Twitch baby. Hey, everybody, my name is Stormcrow56K. Tonight we have a very special guest, CritRocketRunner. See lots of fans and friends in the chat. Thank you all for being here. I very much appreciate that. Crit's been on the list for, since the beginning. As well as many other people. So very excited to have him on here. As tradition, we're going to kind of go through the normal stuff, go through whatever news we can think of, maybe some new records, maybe some facts about a certain comedian that we saw quite a bit in the early 90s. And then we'll get into talking with our good friend Crit. So, yeah, what's new with me? I think I was just talking about running Splatterhouse on TurboGrafx last month. I did get the record for that. Very, very excited and happy about that. Love the Splatterhouse series. Played some JJ and Jeff as well. Took the English record for that. The Japanese record's like 20 seconds faster, which is basically the same game. So if you want to see that game really in action, take a look at that as well. But really enjoyed playing on the TurboGrafx. Anyone out there who hasn't messed around with it, there's all kinds of good games. So highly recommend it. I was just telling Crit before we started too. If no one saw on Twitter, I installed a mod chip on my PS1 tonight, and I feel like a genius, even though it's probably not that hard. So yeah, that's what's new with me. Moving on, news and such. So this is once again just to kind of save on effort for the podcast. We've moved to a much more free flowing attitude for news and records. So if anybody in chat has anything worth mentioning regarding events, anything like that coming up, please feel free to shout it out, and also recent records, and we'll talk about that a little bit. This Saturday, I know tomorrow the Marble Madness Knockout one night only tournament's coming up. The last one was awesome. So anybody who hasn't seen those, really cool. The knockout format, they multiple people play at the same time, and then the top two or the lowest two or three times or whatever get knocked out, and they keep going until there's one person, one ring to rule them all. CV1 Konat knockout as well. Aries says that is on Halloween. That's cool. So yeah, two awesome NES games. I know the Booble or Bobble, whatever you want to call it. Skunky, I don't know if it's private knowledge, but yeah, Skunky's organizing a tournament with GG Speedruns. There's actually they're coming out with a patch from Morphcat Games, I think exclusively for this tournament. So that's going to be awesome. If you haven't played the game, look into it. I'm going to be helping out a little bit with the commentary among many other fine folks. Skunky is saying that's Saturday, November 28th. Official announcement soon, so get hyped. And you can go ahead and play the current release. Check Skunky's Twitter if you want to see that. That's all I can think of for now. But like I said, if anyone has anything else, feel free to pop in. As far as records, honestly, I can't think of any recently. I'm sure there are some. Did not do my homework. So yeah, people went fast probably. Oh yeah, Nestmaster took TMNT glitchless. Thank you, Skunky. Z1. Oh, Lack took it back. Okay, awesome. So that's those are two really big big records right there. Rayo took Rockin' Ball Ice Hockey record on October 8th. Thank you, Rayo. Oh yeah, Rift 20XX. He got the Earthworm Jim SNES record, I believe. He found like a 30-second skip or something too. But I think he improved the record by like 40 seconds maybe or something. So it's not just the skip that he found. He had a really solid run. I actually saw that one, and I completely forgot. Rayo also lost that record, is what Shar says. Crit got Goonies too. Yeah, well, we were gonna talk about that, but yeah. Crit, congratulations. Goonies 2. You're the man. Ninja Gaiden Pacifist percent world record was improved by the same fella, Edo87. Congrats, Edo. So yeah, way more. A lot of these I'm actually remembering now. So big shout out to chat. Sorry if you're wearing headphones. Just redline that. Yeah, and people ran the Shardcore 20. That's another thing worth mentioning. So congrats to Shar and all the participants in that. What do we got? Overswarm has his Halloween themed similar thing going on too. I forget what that's called. But check that out if you're interested. Spooktacular. This is great. I'm organized. All right, last call. Any other news or records? All right. So moving into a section, I'd say a crowd favorite. It's time for checking in with Sinbad. So, very, very important, um, widely unknown Sinbad fact. So, on June 12th of 1982, Sinbad was driving in Memphis, Tennessee, and noticed that he was being tailed by a strange-looking car. The car started flashing its headlights erratically, eventually rammed into the back of his car. He narrowly was able to get off the road onto a interstate on ramp and was quickly able to get off, right after that and run to a gas station. When he pulled over to call the police, he realized there was a maniac in the back seat with a machete. The call came from inside the car. Moving on. All right, that's our Sinbad fact. Let's hear it one more time. Oh, that's so much fun. All right, let's get Crit's video up here. Where is it? Guest video. There we are. All right, and let me bring Crit into the chat. Unmuting you now. You're unmuted. And now, without further ado, allow me to introduce our featured guest for the evening. Everybody give it up for Mr. CritRocketRunner.
Thank you for having me, Stormy. I'm very happy to be here.
You're very welcome, Crit. Thank you. And yeah, I think that's my favorite name for you is Crute. I call you many
I
things.
I've noticed there's definitely a preference for the Crute. I enjoy it as well.
Yeah, just I've seen some other people call you Crute. I like that it's starting to pick up. But yeah, like I said, super happy to have you here. You've been on the list from the beginning, so but yeah, we'll jump right into it. You've seen the show before. I mean, we kind of like to just start by having you introduce yourself on your own terms. Tell us about who you are, the person, who is Crute. Go let it ride. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So, like pretty much everybody here, I've been a video game fan since I was a little kid, mostly Nintendo, Super Nintendo. After that, I kind of got into PC for a while and kind of fell off of consoles. I haven't really played console too much since the Super Nintendo. Um, but I've always been a big fan of retro games, and a few years ago, it was shortly after my son was born. I needed more games with a pause button that I could play, which retro games really fit into that category nicely. The new online games, not so much. So I made this like backlog catalog, I guess, if you will, is this Google Docs spreadsheet of all these games that I wanted to play in my backlog, all these retro games. And I wanted a way to document the process, so I was like, well, I could just stream these things and they automatically get saved and it's easy. So I started doing that, and it was like the third game on my list was Mario 2, which I'd played a ton of when I was a kid.
Hmm.
So I was like, well, I can't just play through this game. It'll take me 20 minutes and then it'll be off the list. I'll try this speed running thing, and
Ooh.
I think I set a goal of like, well, my goal was like 12 minutes and 23 seconds or something. It was my younger brother's record at the time.
So this is
And
this is you just trying to beat it fast on your own. Like,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Well, in the process of this, I beat the 12 minutes pretty quickly, and um, I found out all these other strats and guides that I could be following to save even more time, and I kind of just went down the rabbit hole from there. The backlog is still largely there, um, but I really, really enjoy the speed running now.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, you've gone through a lot of games. We were talking before it started. You were looking at my list of games of note and kind of almost forgetting some of those. And you've done lots of casual playthroughs and stuff too, which are
Yep,
always fun. So yeah, you got time.
yep.
Um,
I feel like these games are like 30 plus years old. They're probably not going anywhere at this point.
right. And I have to mention too, for anyone who hasn't seen this, so you were talking about old games not having a pause button. There's actually a NES game that has a built-in Wi-Fi adapter that's coming out. I don't know if you've seen that, but so you can do online play on your actual NES, which is pretty awesome. I'd love to see people take advantage of that more.
Player records gonna be coming down.
Oh yeah. Well, it's just for that game, but you know,
Oh,
yeah. Just saying, it has potential.
it's still
Um,
kind of cool.
yeah. So what? So and I appreciate you sharing kind of your origin story too. So I mean, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Just personally, family, where you live, whatever, as much as you want to go into, of course.
Yeah, yeah. I'm in eastern Washington, a pretty rural part of the country. Um, Married with two young children, which always makes it difficult. They tend to make it onto the stream from time to time, whether I want that or not. But I mean, it is what it is. Usually, it's pretty fun though. But it does make time short, so it's difficult to balance all those things and also speed running. But I feel like the busier I am, the more time I'm able to make time for the stuff that I want to do. I don't know. If I had all the time in the world, I'd probably just sit and watch TV. I don't know. I'm weird like that, I guess.
Yeah, and I feel you too on the kids. I just have the one. I can't imagine doubling that. But yeah, we're happy to see you as much as we do. Obviously, we'd love to see you a little more, but it seems like you've worked something out. But we're seeing you 2-3 times a week now. I think something like that, right?
Yep. Yeah, and my job, I'm fortunate enough to work 4 10s, so I have 3 day weekends every weekend, which works out pretty nice. I have Fridays off, so especially when the kids get older and are going to be in school more, it'll be a lot easier, especially on Fridays.
Nice. Well, I'm looking forward to that. And Bucko, your boy child,
Yes,
he's done some
Bucko.
gaming on stream, right? He's Doesn't he actually have a spot on the leaderboard for the Fisher Price Rescue, Firehouse
Yeah,
Rescue?
I have put a timer to him as he played through like the first 4 stages of that game. I haven't actually submitted it or
Oh, okay.
anything.
Well, one day.
One day. Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't seem super interested in games so far, but kids are who they're gonna be.
Yeah, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
Yep.
Just good to encourage what they like, and hopefully it's coming from somewhere where it can inspire creativity and that kind of
Yeah.
thing. So,
My 10-month-old daughter does enjoy watching Mario Maker YouTube videos.
oh,
So
really?
so maybe that's gonna be my gamer.
Well, let's hope so. Yeah, man. Kids on YouTube, that's just a whole thing. They watch some weird stuff.
Oh man, yes. That should be its own podcast.
Yeah. What this is what my kid watched this week. All right, we'll talk. We'll talk.
We'll talk.
All right, so let's dive a little deeper too onto gaming in your youth as well. So, what was your first console, or was it PCs where you started gaming?
We actually had an Atari 2600 that I think maybe it was my dad's or it was my grandparents, but anyway, it got left at our house. And I remember playing combat and basketball against my brother, but man, we were pretty darn young then. Then the grandparents got us the NES action set. I think it was in
Noise.
'88 when we got that. So I would have been 6 years old. Um, so that was really the first real gaming I did. I really liked the NES and then the SNES after that when it came out.
Yeah, and you've done some SNES running too, right? Link to the Past. Is that the only SNES game you've ran?
I think so. I've done more casual playthroughs of games on the SNES. I feel like NES speedrunning is kind of the sweet spot for me, usually time wise anyway, for run length and stuff
Right.
like that.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I can definitely appreciate that. Not only for time, but just attention span and, having to
Right.
learn a game that's super long. Definitely doesn't come easy to me.
Hmm.
Now you mentioned your brother. So is this Crit Rocket brother? Is that your only brother?
That's my younger brother. He's 16 months younger than me. And I do have an older brother, but he's 5 years older than me. So he was kind of in a different age bracket when we were growing up. Um, so it was mostly me and my younger brother that played video games together.
And so your younger brother though, that's the one that plays the sweet sweet saxophone on your stream.
Hey, yep. Yeah, he is a school band teacher for middle school, and yeah, he got the musical talent. I remember when I was younger, I wanted to play the saxophone, and our music program in the small town of 500 that I grew up in,
Oh
you had
wow,
to start, yeah, you had to start with the clarinet if you were going to move on to the saxophone later on in your band career. But when that time came, my parents were like, "No, we're not buying you a saxophone." And they saw the writing on the wall. My younger brother, he got the saxophone though.
nice.
There was definite show of talent from his side of the court.
What a real jerk.
It kind of worked out for him, I guess.
Did you get a Chrysler LeBaron? Was that the trade off?
Chrysler. We had an '88 Buick Skylark that was our farm car for a while.
Nice. Now, did you play Pig
Just as
Percent in
good.
real life?
Pig.
Because you
No,
so
we did not have pigs.
okay,
We had cattle though.
okay. So for anyone
Cattle
who's
are
not familiar, Crit used to have the record in Sim Farm Pig Percent, a very distinguished record. Uh,
yes.
okay, you had crops and stuff too. Just curious.
Yeah, yeah, we had cattle and wheat and barley
Nice.
growing up. But fun fact, I upload all my PB videos to my YouTube channel. By far, my most popular video is that damn Sim Farm video
Are you
on
serious?
on my YouTube channel.
Oh, that's too good.
Yeah, like
Any
like
hateful
more
comments,
than double.
or people
No,
just eating it up?
it's mostly just people like I can't believe I watched the whole thing saying stuff like that.
Nice. Right on. Let's see. Okay, so we were talking a little bit too about your stream. So and we're seeing it right now with your stream just going ape shit with all the He-Mans. Um we had a lot of viewer questions asking about it, but um first off, you've got a just a great vibe in your stream. You're a super chill dude. Also, entertaining, funny as well. Um but you've got these sprites going on. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on with your stream, how that started? We'll dive a little deeper into that.
Yeah, so it kind of started as a programming project for me. I wanted to learn more about programming, and I'm the type of person that can't like just sit down and learn programming. I have to have a project associated with it to motivate me to keep learning. And so the first incarnations of Crit Rocket Robot were um, they're a couple years old at this point, and they didn't have like any kind of animations or any sprites or anything like that. It was just like basically an image would pop up and a sound clip would play. And that's where the famous exclamation point "Oh" sound clip started. Um,
Can we get your best O for chat for the folks at home who don't know what O is?
I really wouldn't do it
Uh,
justice.
okay, I'll do one then. Oh, yeah, I'm not doing it justice. It's terrible. It's horrible.
It's
But
it's really good.
all right, that's
I
fine.
think
Go on.
Stone Temple Pilots was playing in the
Yeah.
background, and I just I
I
get
know
kind
it's
of
weak, Urza.
sweaty when I think about it.
Sorry to stop your train of thought. Go on. Continue. So that's how we
um,
got the O.
yep, and I don't know. I always had it in the back of my mind that I wanted these sprites walking around on the bottom of the screen. And at the time, I was just using a C Sharp Forms application, and it didn't really have the ability to do that kind of thing. So I moved over to Unity, and once I saw the capabilities of that as far as the movement of stuff, it's got a built-in physics engine, a particle engine, stuff like that. Well, I think I went a little overboard, as you can
No.
see on the
Well,
video here.
it's gotten worse than this. And recently I found out that mods can refund channel point redemptions. So I can just do a million kick the things and then refund myself and do a million more. So all you mods out there, I actually haven't done that on your stream, but I could. Uh, um, yeah, that's and you actually you've had a couple like special streams where you've made it into a game too, which has taken it to a whole nother level, right?
Yeah, I had the idea that for some of my special streams, I wanted like a raffle type thing, um, but I wanted it to be something different than like a number generator. So I built like this gauntlet that sprites had to go through, and they had to make all these like 50-50 dice rolls to make jumps over gaps to finally make it to the end of the course. And then whoever made it to the end of the course like won a gift sub or something like that.
50 oh, all those jumps are 50-50. It seems like once you get higher up on it, they had to be lower, right? Or it was really all
Yeah,
50-50s?
I did change like well it's kind of a floating scale, so I had it in my mind that I wanted like somebody to win every half an hour ish. So it starts out, yeah, the top jumps are less than 50-50, but
Do
they
it.
get easier as it goes on
Okay.
until somebody wins.
That's awesome. Yeah, those are always fun. I appreciate you kind of telling us. And then for anyone who hasn't seen this or does go to Crit Stream, if you are a subscriber, you get to pick your sprite. And well, you've probably got over 100 different sprites now, I would guess, right?
Yeah, there are a lot of them in there. I don't even know how many. I think the last time I counted has been a number of months ago. It was like 120-ish, I think.
Nice. That's
Yeah, it's fun.
awesome.
It's kind of a nice study on NES era pixel art and how it was made too. So that's always fun for me.
Nice. Well, thanks for sharing a little bit about that. Like I said, I always enjoy it, and it's just a fun stream, anyways. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about your some of your speed running. And I guess going back a little bit too. Do you have like any particular influences? I mean, I know you kind of stumbled into the Mario 2. I mean, was it just Mario 2 runners that you kind of started seeing, or um,
As far as people that
yeah.
influenced my speed running, yeah, I mean one of the early moments I had on Twitch was the first time I found Angry Lanx's stream. He was also running Mario 2 at the time.
Oh, cool.
And I told him that, as I was in his chat there, that I was also learning the game. And I had like a 9.5 minute run at that time, and it was really cool of him. He's like, "Oh, I'll have to check that out." And I didn't actually expect him to do that. um, but then the next time he was streaming, I went in there and he's like, "Oh yeah, I took a look at your run. You need to practice your warp fight." And I was like, "Wow, that's pretty cool that you took the time," because I was very new in the speedrunning community at that time. So I always try to pass that kind of attitude on to
Yeah.
uh, newer runners as well. I thought that was really cool of him.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, Lynx is super nice, especially for having a name like Angry Lynx. And it's funny too. He gets, especially lately, he's been getting way more. I mean, he's always had good viewership and stuff, but especially with the summoning salt video, and he handles trolls so well, and he handles just annoying and dumb people so well, in like such a genuinely friendly way. It's impressive to see. Um, aside from just being nice to nice people. Um, so yeah, shout out. Well, right on. I appreciate you
Indeed.
sharing that too. So let's talk about some of your runs of interest. So Goonies 2, you're still grinding that. You just took the record um,
Yep.
from Dragon Dark
Yep.
of
Yeah, he
of the
had a really
Karnov
good
fame.
run. He's a strong runner.
Oh, he's ridiculous. Yeah, GG. So what did you play that game as a kid?
I did. That's kind of how most of my speed runs have been chosen so far. I played Goonies 2 as a kid, and the game really kind of beat me down. It was, I mean, it's kind of an awkward game in that the map is horrible. You don't really know where to go. You don't know where the items are in these rooms once you get to them. But I mean, it is an NES game, so the bar was pretty low. Um, but I really enjoyed the exploration aspect of the game when I was younger, and as an adult, I just wanted to beat the game. And so that was kind of why I decided to learn the route to beat the game and do the speed run. Um, and then from there, I kind of began to enjoy the speed run more, and that's why I decided to keep on going with it.
Nice. Yeah, and it's like a nice relaxing run to watch. I really enjoy it. I'll be honest with you. I have no idea what's happening when you're running that game, but I love to watch you run it. Like obviously I can
Yeah,
tell like what's going on with like the action bits and the jumps and stuff. But
the menus go by pretty quick, hopefully anyway.
yeah.
So you can't really tell what's going on when you're watching.
Yep, you're just punching doors, saying rip the poo. hoping you don't get hit by blueberries. It's good
Yeah, the
fun.
damn bloobs.
Good jams too.
Hmm.
And we're seeing Rygar here as well. You had the any percent no wrong warp record for a little while. That was fun watching you grind that one as well. Is that another childhood fave?
Actually, no, on this one. This was a game that I had watched old Leaky Pipes run quite a bit, um, and just kind of fell in love with the game through watching him speed run it, and decided that I was going to learn the run myself. And then it was another one of those cases of I really enjoyed it, so I just kept going with it.
Nice. Yeah, I gotta say that run fits similar vibes for Goonies to me too. I also have no idea what's going on, but I like to watch you run it as well, and other folks.
It
That was
is
good
a
in music
pretty,
though.
yeah, that's true. It is a relaxing run. Well, it's pretty. I don't want to say slow paced, but it's got a metered pace to it. It's not hectic at all.
Right, you don't have to worry about that pesky glitch, that wrong warp.
That's right. That's right.
Um, and so next game up. Once again, we got a ton of games of note here, but this one we shared a little bit together was Labyrinth, the Famicom game.
Oh,
So
yes.
how did you even find that? Just one day you're telling me about it, and before you know it, me, you, and Skunky and was it
Yeah.
Windcast are playing it like crazy.
Oh, they, yeah, for some reason around that time, I was like experimenting with sorting the NES game list on speedrun.com, and that one like popped up as a game that had a run, had a board, but only had one run on it. And I really enjoyed the movie as a kid. I
Oh
still
yeah,
do.
me too.
Um, so I was like, well, we can beat this, and that's really how it started. Started routing it, and that's it. Turned out to be kind of a poopy game, though, in my opinion.
I
But
really enjoyed it. I mean, obviously there are better games, but um,
yeah, the high levels, like really getting a super fast time was kind of frustrating, though.
yeah, yeah, a lot of RNG for sure.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, you did a great job with the routing because yeah, it was not even close to optimized. Um, and yeah, it took a while. There were a lot of revisions. Is that the first game you'd ever routed or?
It was, and that was another thing. Like I'd never really routed a game before, and it turns out like that game is there were some maps online that I could look at and kind of eyeball a route, but there was a little bit of an oversight that I had made, um, that Skunky actually figured out that we could save like 2 minutes. I think it was an accident that he forgot to get a key somewhere, and it turned out that we just didn't need any more keys. So,
Right, and we didn't have to go through the Jareth's go to the Goblin City or whatever again. Yeah,
oh yeah, that's what it was. Yep.
yeah, yeah. That and we had already been grinding that I think for like 2 or 3 weeks at that point
Yeah.
too. Like
Yeah, we
okay,
were we were already like 5 minutes below the previous world record at that time when we found that Skunky found that 2 minute time save.
yeah. But that was good fun, and yeah, that's interesting just to see because I've never had the opportunity to try and route a game like that. But I personally appreciate all the work you did, and I think you did a fantastic job.
Yeah, it's a fun thing to do.
So on that note, another game we shared, and this is actually how we came to know each other, was Little Nemo, the Dream Master.
Oh, yes.
One of
Such a
my
good game.
oh yeah. So yeah, that was the first game I started running, and I was just checking out the leaderboard, and I think you had submitted a time like within the last few weeks or something, and I checked you out, and it was it was love at first twitch.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was another game that I had as a kid that I made it to the Nightmare Land when I was a kid, but
Oh
had
wow.
never beaten the game. So that was another one that I wanted to learn the speed run just to be able to beat the dang thing,
Yeah, that
and ended up really liking it.
nice. Yeah, that's basically the same story for me, except I've said before. I think I've said before that I made it to Nightmare Land. I don't think I did. I I don't know how far I sucked at that game, and I tried it multiple times. Um,
Well, if I'm being honest, I knew about the code as a youth, where you could skip right
oh,
to how I think you can go to topsy turvy, right?
you can go straight to Nightmare Land.
Oh, can you? Maybe that's how I did it. I do
You
remember knowing about that though.
hacker man,
Hacker man.
and that's a name you've gone by many times, right? Now you what what's the word Steam knife mean to you? Tell chat what the
Oh man,
it's a lot to
that
unpack.
was yeah, that was supposed to be forgotten. Now it's only
Oh no.
spoken in hush whispers in taverns around steampunk. What was it? I don't even remember what we were talking about. Oh yeah, we were talking about our steampunk hacker names, and
Yes,
mine was gonna be Steam Knife,
which
and
it's
I
so
put all
simple,
of
but
1 second
yeah,
into thinking about that, and then somebody named Stormcrow kept remembered that.
I'll never let it die. I don't know why, but it's the best thing ever. And I
Steam Knife.
yeah, I just had to work that in somewhere, and it seemed like that was my only opportunity. All right, got a couple more games here. So, Bionic Commando, another iconic Crit Rocket Runner game.
Oh yes, one of my favorites. Might be my favorite speedrun. Um, just such a satisfying game once you get into it. It's got kind of a steep learning curve with the weird grappling hook movement, but um, once you start making some quick optimized movements with it, it feels so nice. And actually, that's gonna be once I'm done with Goonies and Mario 2, which I'm playing currently, I'm gonna do a nice long grind of Bionic Commando.
Nice,
Try try to get my time lower in that game.
nice. And I saw you actually have the Japanese record with all the Hitlers and whatnot. That's actually coming up soon on the video.
Oh dear.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're not approving that. We're just it's a thing that happened.
Yeah, that was the I think the Japanese version of the game translates to Hitler's Resurrection.
Nice. What's he called? Master D.
Yes, Master D in the North American release.
A ridiculous name. But yeah, looking forward to that. I like watching you play Biocom as well. You talked a little bit about Super Mario Brothers 2 already. And you also did the Return to Subcon, the Glitch Cat um,
Yeah, yeah,
ROM
that
hack.
was a lot of fun.
He's got a new one coming out soon. Did you hear about that?
I heard rumblings. I haven't heard a lot of details about it, but I am
Yeah,
excited about that.
nice. Yeah, yeah, those games are ridiculous. And then just a couple more. So Getsu Fumaden, Famicom game. You actually had Zorilla play that in one of his challenges. Tell us a little bit about that game.
Yeah, that was a game that I had learned about maybe like 2010-ish when me and 8-Bit Murphy were playing a lot of Castlevania Harmony of Despair. He was an unlockable character in that game. I was
Oh,
like, who
really?
is this? Yeah, I was like, who is this little 8-bit guy? So once I got into NES speedrunning, I kind of checked it out once I had a power pack. And I realized that there was a category for glitchless. that most people were running a pretty broken, glitched category of the game. Um, there's a category for glitches with no runs on it, and the 12-hour challenge was coming up. So I did like
Oh,
a
cool.
theory crafted route for it and did runs over a long weekend. Um, and that's how I got the the current time for that glitchless category. It's a really fun run. It's kind of long. I think it's like an hour and 20 minutes ish.
Yeah,
It's it reminds me a lot of like Konami's version of Zelda 2.
yeah,
Um,
I can
but
see
yeah, I
that.
had a lot of fun doing that. I would like to go back and optimize that run more, but man, it's just so long.
Right. Yeah, it looks really fun. I want to check it out one day. Like just unique enough, not completely unique. Now, do you know how long the any percent is? I'm just curious.
I think it's like 25 minutes ish.
Okay, so that's yeah, that's reasonable at least.
Yeah, there's a lot of frame perfect and out of bounds stuff
Oh,
and
good,
it's weird. I don't understand it. I would be interested in learning that
nice.
category at some time too, though.
Maybe another 12-hour challenge.
Yeah, there you go. Because I got 12 hours on a weekend these days.
Oh yeah, yeah, me too. Yeah, and actually that's how JJ and Jeff started with me was a 12-hour challenge, and it ended up being like 12 hours over 2 weeks or something.
Yeah, yeah. Which works. That
Yeah,
works.
yeah. And then final game of note. And obviously, we've got more stuff to talk about, but let's talk a little Canav.
And yeah, Karnov will always hold a special place in my heart because I was pretty new in the speedrunning community when I first heard of, I think it was 2018, and I had, found Twitch in early 2018, heard about Carnovember, and
Whoa, whoa.
ended up learning the run for that and meeting a lot of cool streamers that I hadn't met before. Um, I remember I met, I think that was around the time that we met as well, right? Stormy,
Yeah,
maybe?
shortly. And you're the reason I ended up running Karnov too. I kept watching you play. I was like, damn it, this looks fun. It's ridiculous as it is.
And I also remember finding Burst Air and Super Pit Froze streams at that time as
Mm-hmm.
well. So it was cool to see the community come together at that time. So that was the main reason I really enjoyed that run. Plus, it's just kind of a fun, short speed run to learn.
Yeah, it's very unique.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and yeah, the whole community thing too. Like, I don't know. I guess I've always been a little bit of a contrarian and not wanting to kind of do what everyone else is doing, but there's definitely some value to that. I mean, obviously you don't want to just jump onto any trend or whatever, but yeah, it's fun coming together and talking and learning and rooting each other on. So, well,
Well
cool.
said.
Know you. Um, so yeah, what's I know you talked a little bit about going back to after Super Mario Brothers 2, going back to Biocom. Any other speed running plans in the future? Anything you're thinking about?
The only plan that I have right now is the next game that I want to learn from scratch is gonna be Ninja Gaiden 2. That was another game that I
Nice.
had when I was a kid. Did not make it far in that game back then, and I mean the Gaiden games are so popular as speed runs. I just kind of want to check that out and see what it's all about. And since that one fits into my backstory, um, I thought it'd be a good one to learn next.
With the backlog. Yeah,
Yeah, the backlog.
nice. Yeah, and I've heard. I mean, it's a really cool run to watch, and I played it when I was a kid too. But I've heard the movement and everything, and you can tell just by watching it is really satisfying. Like probably more satisfying than Ninja Gaiden 1, just with the damage boosts and the
Those
multiple ninjas.
clones,
Uh huh.
yeah, to do all the damage when you stack those guys up.
And the jams. Oh, the jams.
Hot jams.
So hot. Speaking of hot jams, um, hot gravy? Question mark. What's what? Where did there's a lot of talk of gravy on your stream. Tell to the people at home that don't know t- what. Where did that come from? Do you even know? Where did the gravy start?
I don't. I mean, this is the way many things start out on my stream. Is I say something offhand, and I just I keep pushing with it for no good reason, and I think the gravy was a part of that as well. I would always make the joke that my Famicom was oozing gravy when the game would lag really bad. I think maybe that's where it came from. At this
That's
point,
hilarious.
it's unknowable. But yeah, I do have a cool cup of gravy emote on my FFC.
Yes, you do. I love it. Yeah, that's yeah. I've never heard you say that. That's. I hope to hear that more when people are seeing some lag. Okay, and you said so you don't really mess with any modern games at all. It's pretty much Super Nintendo, and that's all you've
I
played
mean,
since, or
I've played a lot of PC games over the years, and up until I started, well, up until I had children, I mainly played new PC games. I was playing a decent amount of Overwatch back then, and before that, Team Fortress 2, which is kind of where I got my
yeah,
handle from. So in Team Fortress 2, you've got the soldier is a character that's got a rocket launcher, and you randomly have a critical shot that comes out of your rocket launcher. So those are always called crit rockets. And that's kind of where that came from.
nice, fun game.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I think that's my highest number of hours on time played on Steam. I
This
think
is the
we're
time to play it too. Halloween, they have all those, or I assume they still do that, right, with the costume packs and everything.
yeah, probably I don't even know anymore. I haven't looked into it for a while.
I want to see a Team Fortress stream crit.
Oh man,
Let's
that
make
would
it
be.
happen.
I'd need to drink about a six pack of beers, and then I'll be rocket jumping all over the place. It'll be
That's
amazing.
yeah, that's fine. That works. Right on. Okay, so and normally I kind of asked this earlier, and I just spaced it. But how about hobbies outside of speedrunning? You know, like I said, we like to kind of get to know the runner, you know, on a whole level. So I know you're into doing some pixel art, programming. What else? Or you can talk about those some too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, throughout my life, I've kind of been a collector of hobbies. Most of them don't stick around for a super long time. But I'm really hoping that the art thing does stick around. It has so far. I'm really enjoying that. It's um, satisfying to see improvement on that front for me. Um, but other than that, the programming has always been more kind of a professional improvement type of thing rather than a hobby itself. But I do enjoy, the pixel art and sprite movement pieces of the programming. I'm also into lawn care, Sedlar, and um, and actually bonsai grooming. I got into that like it was shortly after my son was born. Found an incredible YouTube channel. Um, the name of which is escaping me right now. The Bonsai Zone, that's what it is.
Nice.
Um, and I went to Home Depot and got myself some $5 plants and have been growing some bonsai since then.
That's awesome. That seems like a really cool hobby.
Yeah, I enjoy it a lot. It's something you can put, you know, 5 or less minutes into a day and over a long period of time see some cool progress.
And succulents too, right? Didn't you go, or is that phase over? Didn't you have a succulent obsession for a while?
Yeah, I do enjoy my succulents. Um,
I'm
uh,
not.
but
Yeah,
those
they're
can
cool.
be bonsai as well. I've got those. Bonsai just means grown in a pot or a tray, so
Oh,
I
cool.
am training those as bonsai as well.
Nice.
I've got some jades at work.
Awesome. And
I'll
I
have
want
to
to
put some pictures up on my Discord of that.
please do. I'm gonna go back a little too on the art. First off, yeah, keep up the good work. I think anyone that's seen your stuff would agree you're doing great. I know, especially it seems like with art and stuff like that, it's hard to sometimes to keep pushing through. But especially cool that you're doing like animated pixel art as well. Does that? I mean, does that add a whole nother layer? Adding the animations, or I have no idea really how that works.
Yeah, that is kind of an interesting piece of it. It is the most tedious portion of the process for sure. But the I think it adds so much to the end result, just
Yeah,
having like a little bit of animation to it. And I can definitely tell like when I post something on Twitter that's animated versus something that's not, like there's definitely a different response between those two things. Um, so I think I will try to keep going with the animation piece, but I try to keep it kind of low key, not get too crazy.
yeah. Well, on that, so I mean, where? Yeah, I mean, I know it's just a hobby, but I mean, is do you have an idea of kind of where you want to take that, or do you want to, turn that into like you've had a couple of people kind of ask for some commissions and stuff too, right? I mean, is that something you'd like to start taking more seriously, or just kind of seeing where it goes, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't know that I ever want to do it as like as a professional. um, I like doing the things that I want to do as far as art. Um, and I like doing stuff for friends, and I just don't ever seeing me being in a place where I would want to charge people for that, or even, you know, entertain people that I don't necessarily know,
Right.
asking for stuff. Um, I just kind of want to keep it as a fun thing for now,
Sure.
something to kind of add another dimension to mine and other people other people's streams that I watch in the retro community.
Right on. Yeah, I respect that. Like I said, just curious. Well, cool. Well, yeah, I think we're all excited to keep seeing you doing your thing on that end, on the programming end, on the bonsai end, on the succulent end, on the gravy end. I'm going to say a couple words and phrases. I just want you to first thing that comes into your mind. You tell me. Giant calzone,
PogChamp.
PogChamp, uh, pickles and mayonnaise.
Oh, pickles and mayonnaise. Did I tell this story before? Is
I don't know if you did or Murphy. So yeah, 8-bit Murphy for people who don't. I'm sure most of you know he's a streamer as well. You guys pretty much grew up together, right?
Yeah, we went to school since first grade together. And yeah, we grew up in a town of 500 people, so uh, we got to know each other pretty well. And there was a time in high school, he lived out in the garage at his parents' place, and we were so hungry one night, but all we had was access to the garage fridge. And there were pickles and mayonnaise in there. And I dipped those pickles in the mayonnaise, and it was bad. But
Uh,
I was hungry and I ate it.
I don't know why that story sticks with me so much, but I just once again I had to get it in there. I appreciate you sharing that with the steam knife.
It may have been Miracle Whip.
Oh, that's a whole nother story. Mayo Gate.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, we're gonna jump on over then. We're gonna hop into some viewer questions, and we've got a lot. So thank you everybody in Discord that gave some questions here. We got a ton of them. Love the interactivity. Starting with Mr. 40 Watt Range, aka 40 Wattage or Forte Wattage. I don't even know what this means. Which cave is the best cave? Do you know what that means?
It seems like I should know what that means. I'm gonna think of this reference in about well, is probably about 5 minutes after we get off. I can only think of Ninja Turtles,
Okay.
which
No,
the first cave is the best cave.
don't worry. Yeah, well, that's all in 40. And yes, my cats and dogs
Oh,
are
I
running
know what
around.
it is. I know what it is. This is the red cave, and this is the green cave.
Is that
The
Goonies?
Yeah, those are the
Okay,
songs I
right,
sing in the red and green and purple cave. I
right.
like purple cave. Purple cave. We want to go with purple cave.
I love your Goonies songs. Nice. All right. 40's got some more. Um, let's see. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Yeah, Base Guy, thank you, sir. We'll come back to that. Base Guy has a question too. Um, 40 asks, how did you get into pixel art? He actually asked, where would you like to take that skill wise? I guess I subconsciously stole that part of the question.
um, how I got into it, I don't even remember at this point. I think I've always been interested in art in general and kind of been discouraged at any kind of progress I've been able to make in the past. And I feel like pixel art was always something that was accessible to me right from the get go. It's like, there's only so many pixels on the canvas. I've got to be able to make something out of this. I think that's kind of where that came from. Just a drive to learn something artistic and it seeming like the path of least resistance at the time.
Yeah, and it's definitely fitting to your to one of your other main hobbies too. So
Yeah, and I've really always liked the aesthetic of pixel art as well.
sure. Next question from 40. What is a game that you would never speedrun and why? And then second question, why did you have to say JJ and Jeff and hurt my feelings?
Uh, um, it's just not enough time. That's all. That's all 40. I want to run all the runs, but I just can't.
Sad. Sad and hurtful. Um, oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say for something serious as a run that I've like written off forever, I can't think of anything in particular that I've ever said, no, I will never run that game. I'm
So,
sure there's been something though.
yeah, this Sith dealing ultimatums. That makes no sense. All right, moving on. I'm tired.
Absolutes, absolutes.
Absolutes. Yeah, I should not be quoting Star Wars. I'm more of a Trekkie. Um,
That was also a prequel episode you just quoted,
right.
by the way.
So double. All right, you all can crucify me. Um, another one from 40. Jesus, are Chunk and Toxic Avenger related?
I mean, I haven't thought about it before, but yes,
They do look
yes, they
very
are.
similar.
I think Toxic Avenger is more maybe like Sloth's brother. Maybe Sloth had a toxic accident.
So he's a what is it? Patelli? Is that it? Petrelli? Patelli?
Yeah, Fratelli.
Fratelli. Thank you.
Yeah, He's the
All right.
simple one, but he's got a heart of gold
Nice.
and a
Um,
weird eye.
yes. Zorilla33. See him in chat. Good old pal Zorilla. Crit, tell us about your happiest speedrunning moments, and are they the same as your happiest streaming moments? Nice question.
Interesting question. I mean, most of my favorite speedrunning moments slash streaming moments are they're usually like they're the typical like I did a good run and got a PB type moments, but I really enjoy a lot of moments where I'm in the chat of somebody else's stream. Like Stormy, when I saw your record of getting all those Nemo frame perfects in a row, like that's that was a pretty awesome moment.
Oh,
I
thanks,
think I
buddy.
was pog champing for real during that, and like you were out of your mind during that time. I bet you blacked out. I bet you don't remember it at all. But it was pretty amazing. I also
I
still
appreciate it.
remember the the very first stream I ever went into on Twitch, like before I joined Twitch. Like this was early February 2018. I found Old Leaky Pipe stream, and I went in there and he was playing Russian Attack, and like that was the first time I'd like ever gone into a Twitch stream and like interacted with the streamer, and it was just a really cool moment for me. I think I accidentally picked a really good person to do that with
Yeah,
because
for sure.
I've obviously been good friends with Pipes since then. But yeah, that's always going to be a fond memory for me.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. Right on. Yeah, thanks for sharing. KLM1187. We already covered this, but he just so we know we've talked about it. He was asking about where your name came from. So thanks, KLM. This happens a lot. A lot of these things will come up, but I still am very appreciative of everyone asking. That's Amore. Is speed running all practice and no luck? No practice and great reflexes? Question mark. Consecrated controllers and marketing? Question mark. Or I forgot. He also
This is
said,
a
"Don't ask my question" in chat.
well that I'm sorry, Maury, but that question was just kind of a train wreck towards the end. But it's actually a really good question. I think about that a lot. As far as like what goes into a good speed run, and my opinion on that has changed a lot since speed running. Um, I used to think that like when I would watch these speed runs, like I used to watch the GDQ VODs a lot before I ever got into speed running myself, and it
Mm-hmm.
was I had this idea that like these people are super talented. I don't think I could ever do that, and I think talent, I don't know if it has even a little bit to do with it anymore. Maybe aptitude a little bit, but I think it's mostly practice. Practice is the main thing that makes speedrunners good. Like how they practice, whether or not you can stay motivated is a huge piece
Mm-hmm.
of it. Um, I forgot where I was going with that, but but
I
yeah,
like it.
the I don't think talent is a big piece of it. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, and that's bled over into other parts of my life as well. Like for the art thing, like in the past, I would be able to just convince myself that I wasn't talented enough to pursue that type of endeavor, but I think it's just all practice and that's it. Practice and motivation.
Yeah.
Keep those things up and you're going to be great.
Well said. Right on. Zexy has a handful of questions. Being a rad dad, how do you make time for streaming, dadding, and working on that hot? It says hot bot but maybe bod is what he means. And or.
I don't think he means hot bod.
Well,
Um,
I mean it.
it is tough. Like I think I mentioned earlier, like the busier I am, the the better I am at like scheduling out my time and making sure that I have a little bit of time to do the things that I want to do. Um, and yeah, while streaming is doesn't get a lot of playtime, it does get consistent playtime, and that's all I'm really looking for. So I mean, of course, family's always gonna come first, but
Sure,
um, just gotta try and work it in where it fits in, and that's worked out for me so far.
sure. And I'm sure your wife is obviously got to have some level of support for you to allow letting you get away, and I assume tonight letting you get away, taking care of the kids or whatever.
Yep,
So
yeah, a lot
significant
of
others,
prior planning,
right?
running it by the significant other ahead of time. Also, she has zero idea why people watch me play video games on the internet. It still confounds her.
Hey, as long as she supports.
That's right.
Another question from Zexy: if you could restart your speedrunning journey, would you do anything differently?
I think I would. I mean, I've kind of bungled my way through it and it's worked out for me so far. I'm really happy with where things are for me, so I don't think I would change anything.
Yeah, man, it's all about the journey.
Indeed.
Let's see. Another one from Zexy. In an ideal world, would you become a full-time streamer if you didn't need the money from your day job? And I'm gonna go ahead and add, and you didn't have two children and a wife. That's not
Uh, I mean that would be I mean streaming is like my favorite fun thing to do, so if I didn't have to worry about it as for like income and stuff like that, I probably would. I mean, I'd stream as much as I wanted to, basically,
right,
which would be a lot more than I
right.
am currently. I don't think I'd want to rely on it for an income. I feel like maybe having that added stress on top of it would make it not as fun.
Yeah, yeah, and obviously, I mean, you'd have to get to a point to where that even be something you could consider. Um,
Right. Yeah.
so, but yeah,
Probably not happening too often in the retro community.
right. You have even with not being able to stream as often though, you have cultivated a great community. So keep up the
Yeah,
good
I'm
work.
I'm very happy for everybody that stops by and hangs out. It's always a ton of fun for me. It's like my stress relief, really. I always end a stream. Well, not always. Like 99% of the time, I end a stream feeling much better than when I started.
Nice. I'm happy to hear that. Lat Mackey, he asked, and already covered these two. What made you first try speed running, and how did you find time for speed running? But appreciate you, Matt. Um, Rayo asked if you were forced to learn a new game to grind for a world record. What one would you choose? New game, world record.
New game,
It's a
world
good question.
record. Yeah, I mean, there's so many games that like world record is such a variable goal depending on the game.
Sure.
Like some games are going to be 10 times the work to get to world record. Um, that's a toughie. I mean, if it'd probably be Bionic Commando. Like if I could have any world record in any game, I would want it to be Bionic Commando 100%. But man, PJ is a beast and he went crazy on the run. It is super optimized.
How far off are you with your current PB?
Oh geez. I think like a minute and 15 seconds. It's quite a ways off for like I'm at 22 ish and I think the record's like 2045-ish.
Okay,
But if you watch his run, it's crazy. Like he takes it to another level, but he definitely put the work in for it too.
sure. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. Well, hopefully, yeah. Let's see where you're at after this next grind. But I bet you'll end a lot closer than you think. And just don't forget that
Uh,
motivation and practice, baby.
that's right.
And don't discount the the glitch hunting even for games that are not but glitch routes, whatever. Even for super optimized games, coming into it with a new mindset, with a fresh mindset, can do wonders. So,
Yeah, for sure. Gotta find those time saves.
oh yeah. Burst Error asks, best gravy recipe? Question mark.
Liquid meat.
Liquid meat,
Liquid meat.
can
Brown.
can
Brown.
open.
Brown
I
color liquid meat.
okay.
Salt, salt, little pepper.
All right, I like it. Someone clip that. Ness Atlas got in a last second question. Your screen overlay is awesome. Not a question. Do you have any new ideas planned?
I don't have any new ideas for the moment. Um, I kind of struggle with like the idea of is this too much versus this is a cool idea. Um, and right now I feel like we're bordering on this is too much a lot of times. But I kind of like writing that line. But it would be easy to go overboard. So right now I'm kind of at a loss for any new features, but I like it where it's at. More sprites to come for sure. But
Nice. Yeah, yeah, I love where it's at too. So not that I feel like it needs anything else. But I'm sure you'll come up with some fun stuff. You got a creative mind for that.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Okay, and then so going back, base guy um mentioned or threw out a question, which is actually one that I am supposed to ask all of our guests, which we already talked about how you got into it, influences. But so tell us, what's your favorite speed run, favorite casual game, and we'll go from there. We're backtracking.
Favorite speed run I think is yeah, Bionic Commando. It's my favorite speed run to watch
Okay.
and run. Favorite casual game, that's a toughie. I've always enjoyed RPGs, especially like NES and SNES era RPGs. I've never had any kind of drive to speedrun those, but I talked a little bit about the backlog that I had created, that spreadsheet
Mm-hmm.
that got me into speedrunning, and the game that I finally finished before starting the Mario 2 speedrun was a casual playthrough of Final Fantasy V, which was super enjoyable. I had a ton of fun doing that. So I'm gonna go with that as my favorite casual game.
Nice. Alrighty, and then the final question:
Final
favorite
Fantasy 3
childhood,
NES.
favorite childhood gaming memory,
Mm.
or just one that you can think of. Like I know you're talking about playing with your brother,
Yeah.
so we covered that a little
Yeah.
bit. But
I don't know if this is necessarily a favorite, like could be considered a favorite memory, but I actually look back on it pretty fondly now, but at the time it was frustrating. My younger brother and I were like Street Fighter 2 rivals. I was a Ryu main, he was a Chun-Li main, and man, like there was a point where he like had my number in that game. Like I was always an aerial attacker, come in from the top, and he figured out the midair throw, and he just destroyed me for quite some time, and I got so frustrated with him. Um, And I remember that really well. But now I look back on that fondly, like having that kind of um, person to get good at video games with was a good thing to have.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, you said 15 months, right? Yeah, that's not too far off. Yeah, my brother was 5 years older than me, so um, we played games together, but not to that level. Nice.
Yeah, it is tougher when the age gap gets that big.
Right on. Well, we appreciate you sharing that with us. So yeah, that's all that I have prepared. I mean, we covered a lot tonight. Um, I want to thank you again, Crit, and I'll probably thank you like four more times before we officially cut stream here. But yeah, this was really fun. I'm glad we could finally get you on. Um,
Thank you. I appreciate being able to talk about myself.
yeah, I think everybody had a good time. It seemed like chat was enjoying it. So bear with me, everybody. I'm just finding somebody to host while we kind of wrap up here. We'll send some love out to someone else in the retro speed running community. Crit, if you got any shout outs or anything else you want to add, now is the time. Or
Follow me on
oh,
Twitter. Hit the bell for like and subscribe.
leave a comment.
Leave a comment. I don't know. I didn't have anything planned. I don't hope nobody could tell.
Oh no, totally couldn't tell. No, I think you're the first person I've ever said that to, so it's probably partially my fault. Um, okay, right on. Yeah. We'll be posting this on YouTube. I actually just uploaded the last episode with 40-watt range today. I'm super bad about doing that, so I'm going to have that tweeted out tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll have Crits up soon, but we'll have a link to his page and Twitter as well. So make sure if you've not already followed him and subscribed to him, you go ahead and do that. Um, and then, of course, for Good Luck Go Fast, make sure to follow us on Twitter, join the Discord, and subscribe on YouTube so you get notified of new episodes. And you can find that on our panel below. Someone at one point typed exclamation point social and it broke Nightbot, and I don't know how to fix it. So we've got this spamming thing about the Elias you set this command to be of social does not exist. So that's a thing. Anyways, Crit, you still there?
Still here.
All right. We're going to go see Yells. He's doing Marble Madness high score attempts. He has the record for any percent Marble Madness. Yeah. Thanks again, Crit. Thanks, everybody, for the love. And we'll see you here in about a month. We'll have somebody else that's super cool on here. Okay, bye. Oh, and Finn, thank you for the raid. Thank you for the sub. Um, Herzog, thanks for the bits. Rayo, much love. Bye.